Today we will talk about one of the most terrifying figures in the history of criminal crimes, a serial killer known as the original Night Stalker. His crimes spanned the 1970s and 1980s in California, and this story of horror, despair, and the search for justice continues to this day. The original Night Stalker is the pseudonym given to an unknown criminal who committed a series of rapes and murders in California. This man, whose total number of victims reached 12 people, became a nightmare for cities such as Irianza, Sculeto, and other settlements. But this was no ordinary criminal. He was noted for his impressive cunning and planning, impressing the investigators with his caution. Night Stalker crimes were marked by a special technique. Most often, he chose his victims from the middle class, breaking into their homes through windows or doors. His crime style varied from rape to murder, often leaving behind a ruthless trail. He sowed panic because no victim felt safe, even if they lived in the most prosperous areas. The Night Stalker case was first opened in 1976, when numerous rapes were recorded in the city of Acquart. The investigation began to intensify when investigators realized that all these crimes were connected. The victims often described similar features of the attacker. However, despite numerous testimonies and even profiles of the criminal, the investigation could not catch him. In 1979, the situation became even worse. The criminal began killing his victims, turning attempted rapes into brutal murders. Over time, the number of victims increased, and fear in the communities reached its peak. People began to protect their homes themselves, installing locks and security systems. However, even this could not protect them from the original Night Stalker. Noting that the crimes occurred at different intervals and in different areas, investigators were trapped without enough information to narrow down the suspects. Observations, DNA analysis, investigative experiments, while this was unsuccessful. Only in the early 2000s, with the development of genetic identification, did hope appear. Scientists were able to isolate DNA found at crime scenes and created a profile of the criminal. After a decade of restless stalking, in 2018, the original Night Stalker, whose real name is Joseph James DeAngelo, was arrested. His arrest was made possible thanks to DNA testing, which linked him to murders committed many years ago. The news of the arrest caused a wide response. It was an important victory for law enforcement agencies and victims. The original Night Stalker's cases are over, but their influence remains. This story became a terrifying chapter in international criminology, showing how important science is in the fight against crime. The memory of the victims who were the targets of this maniac still lives on, and we must remember them in order to prevent a repeat of the tragedy. If you want to learn more about this or other criminal cases, subscribe to our channel, like and leave comments. Thanks for watching.